This is Dr. Felix Brizuela. I'm a physician, as many of you know, as the name insinuates. And when I post here on TikTok, I try to focus on healthcare and the atrocities of our healthcare system, which is allowing patients to die for profit. Okay, I occasionally dabble into politics. Uh, why? Because it is politics that are causing, that are fueling this corrupt uh, criminal enterprise, uh, fueled by lobbyists who I call bribers, uh, this is why government, your Congress, your president won't do anything about health care. I agree with Marianne Williamson. They're going to sit on it. It's all about as she calls it, the industrial complex, the healthcare industrial complex. But anyway, I'm here today to talk about a condition known as a condition, which is not a real condition, opiate-induced hyperlgesia. Again, this today uh, really targets people who suffer from this, who suffer from chronic pain that is being undertreated, and which is 100 million strong now. But keep in mind that whether you like it or not, we're all going to get sick due to what in the outside world, what can be referred as rusting, which is what happens to objects, but in our case it's called the Browning reaction. Free radicals cause damage, so ultimately, until we can figure out how to stop that, the best we know right now is avoiding high fructose corn syrup. All of you are going to get ill. All of you are going to suffer from chronic pain. And sadly, those of you who don't care are going to care once it happens. You're going to say, oh my God, this is the way this is. So it's best to listen, even if you're not suffering from chronic pain or chronic disease right now. They've used this term freely for I don't know how many years, and for years they've been doing some evidence-based data, and we have found no conclusive evidence that there is such a thing as opiate-induced hyperalgesia. Here's a article, Pain Management 2019, concluding that there is just no evidence that there is such a phenomena. Insurance companies at the time were using it to deny opiates. They've kind of stopped doing that, although they're still targeting doctors for prosecution who prescribe opiates even for legitimate reasons. Chronic pain is due to changes in the spinal cord. We call it facilitation. Let me elaborate. When you have an injury, there's inflammation in the area. You see the swelling, you feel the pain, you feel the throbbing. Over time, there's healing. If healing does not take place in a timely fashion, what ultimately happens is a process known as facilitation. The nerve fibers sending the pain signals to the spinal cord, the A and C delta fibers, ultimately wake up these cells called glia cells. You're sleeping up a waking giant. And these glia cells start producing inflammatory mediators like arachidonic acid. In other words, the inflammation has shifted now from, let's say, a sprained ankle, a broken bone, now to the spinal cord. You cannot treat this with non-opiate analgesics. They don't respond to that because drugs like Motrin and Aleve only work peripherally. In the central nervous system, there's inflammation. And realistically, this would only respond to medications for inflammation, which we're looking at that right now. But for the time being, the only means of giving relief to pain, which ultimately we know now leads to premature heart disease and other diseases, not to mention a 600% increase in suicide, is through the use of opiate analgesics, okay? This is what opiate-induced analgesia is. It's what they think it is, okay? Opiates will take the pain away, but they're not going to stop the inflammation. That's a fact. So what is perceived, what they've observed is people who take opiates on a long-term basis. Some, I've never seen it in 33 years, but some, their pain increases over time. So they assumed it was caused by the opiates, but in actuality, it is the natural disease process, the inflammation that continues, continues, continues. I have a number of ideas as to how to treat that in the future, but we're not here to talk about that today. Uh, they're using this ridiculous, non existent entity to not only deny pain for patients, the insurance companies, but these so-called expert witnesses who have no credibility, who do not have the background to act as, the credentials rather to act as experts, like Timothy King, use this phenomena, and of course courts want to believe it because this is all putting doctors in jail is all about the prison industrial complex, which is filling up the prisons for profit. You go to prison, they're making as much as $30,000 a day on you. You multiply that by all the prisoners. 50% of prisoners are in there for nonviolent drug-related crimes. Some, did legitimately uh, uh, transport fentanyl, sell fentanyl, but a lot of doctors just prescribe for people. And I mean, even if you prescribe an opiate for, let's say, a dental extraction, they can throw you in jail now. These are people who have no medical training. Uh, Another thing is DA. They handpick the judges. And I'm not going to go any further into that, but it's all one big collusion between the defense lawyers, the judges, and the prosecutor, okay? I can't comment on where money goes or comes from because, well, I don't really have the knowledge or, I haven't reviewed the proper research, which I'm sure is hidden, but we know that money is influencing why Congress don't do anything because they get paid off by insurance company lobbyists, but my point is they use that fake condition in order to prosecute doctors for profit. But there is no such thing as opiate-induced hyperlgesia. This article concluded that there's just no definitive evidence. They've been trying for years, decades, to try to prove the phenomena. It does not exist, okay? Chronic pain is a disease like any other disease, such as cancer, lupus. If you don't treat it, it's going to get better. It's going to get worse. We don't know how to reduce that inflammation. The arachidonic acid and other inflammatory mediators produced by glia cells. When we do that, then we'll do away with opiates. But that's going to be a problem for the government, isn't it? Because they won't be able to make money putting doctors in jail. Any event, so have a good day.